Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is me playing the closed beta test of PSO2 NGS well, when it was actually going on of quite a while ago. But decided to just wait till the game was near release to upload any footage of it. And the game should have been released already, but 8 hours past the maintenance time is where it's actually gonna actually start. Supposedly, it might even take longer. This is just from me recording it. It's supposed to end like an hour and a half from now. So, yeah. So this is me just fighting just a bunch of random bosses in the closed beta test. Using technically I'm using gunner, but I am using the fist as a weapon because fighter is a subclass. So yeah, I'm technically playing fighter in a way, but yeah, I actually like TMGs in this game, but at heart, I just play melee for the most part. I'm more of a melee player, and TMG is still kind of a range weapon a little bit, not too much. You know, you're supposed to be close range, but it's still fine as a like more range type weapon. So what they did here is they kind of gutted PSO2 to like a more simplistic state and more fluid, more smooth at the same time. So it's like this is a good time to jump into it when they release NGS, and it's just going to be a brand new start for everyone and different enemies, different everything basically. Like just the gameplay in general is completely different. But I would say if you play PSO2, you would still be kind of used to the combat a little bit, so it's not too drastic of a change. So far, like the starting enemies they've shown here, like at least in the beta test, were actually a bit more difficult than I was expecting. Than like how base PSO2 was when they released in JP. I had played like the closed beta test in JP like a long time ago, and I was playing since then. I didn't keep up with the game all the way through, but I definitely had a fun time playing early on. So this is definitely a completely different experience than that was, and I would say it's actually for the better. But the combat in general here is, oh yeah, so I actually put this clip in. This is how you actually dodge this attack. So I had an issue doing this with fist on fighter for some reason. I was really struggling doing with that. Oh, different enemy here. I would say the combat is not as complex right now. Like it feels good, and like that goes for like every single class, I would say. Like it just feels good to play, but it doesn't feel as complex as it is right now in PSO2, which is PSO2 is kind of like broken right now. Like as a game, your character is just completely overpowered. So I think I'm okay with that, but it does feel like I'm playing a downgraded version of the game in a way. Like if you just kept up with PSO2, it feels like you're playing with slightly downgraded gameplay. But the game's just started, so there has to be like a way to move on up and open up in the future. So I don't mind it actually being kind of toned down than what I'm used to. And to be honest, like everything just feels nice and smooth and clean. So yeah, I definitely like the gameplay. Now, right now I switched to TMG. One issue I had with TMG was like the sound effect for it. It was way too loud. I really hope they tone this down at release, because this is like the main reason I didn't want to actually use this weapon, is just the sound for chain trigger. That's just, you see this chain count on my bar, like this keeps going up to 100. It's very loud and definitely not enjoyable to me. That's the only thing I have against TMG right now. And even though I play mostly melee, like that, like I tried to just play something else, and that pretty much stopped me. So but against this enemy, I found playing TMG is pretty fun, or at least a bit more I would say a bit stronger than using fist, because fist is more of like a counter weapon, and this boss takes forever to attack. Definitely not the best one in the beta. I actually think it was kind of whack as a boss. But there's other ones in the game that are pretty cool. Like the Bujin guy I fought first. That was a really cool boss. So my opinion on like the classes, I actually like this boss a lot, the Noglyph. My opinion on the classes is that like I like Hunter. Hunter is pretty okay, but the sword as a weapon I don't really like because it's more of like a slower two-handed type weapon, and it's also a counter weapon. But but the main issue I have is like the PAs. You have to charge them to do anything, and I kind of liked on Hero. That's a different class in PSO2. That's not going to be in NGS, but when Hero just used Photon Arch, you didn't have to really charge anything, and when he did charge something, it was for like a giant energy blast. So yeah, there's Dragon Ball Z Ki Blast. So in my opinion, it kind of is a downgrade going back to Hunter because you don't attack with a sword with one hand, and you also can't do energy blast anymore. So I'm not really trying to play Hunter here. Fighter, I would say, is like the go-to class that most people would probably end up playing if they played like Scions or were just like really comfortable with PSO2 in general, like just really good at the game or anything. I feel like Fighter is that class to pick if you're actually already good at PSO2 because the damage output on it will probably be higher than the other classes, and it's also probably more variety in the gameplay, I would say, probably, than like a ranged class that shoots and does magic and shit. So the other classes, I guess the ranged ones, Ranger was kind of okay here. Like the movement on Ranger is a lot better than regular PSO2. Without just attacks though, like they actually got rid of the timed perfect attacks that you can do in PSO2, and that kind of makes the gameplay a little bit more stale, easier. But they want to make the game more accessible. But the fact that they did that, and then Ranger just has like you just hold left click or the attack button to just shoot all day, is kind of whack. I would say not really that cool. And it has a couple other things, but it just feels like the gameplay for Ranger, the variety isn't there. So it's mostly just there as like a support, I feel. Not really something I really want to play. But if people like to be a bit lazy while playing, it's probably really great for them. So if you played Summoner in PSO2 or Ranger in PSO2, you'll actually probably enjoy the class. Gunner, like I said, is kind of like a close range class, but not really something everyone would want to play because it moves a little bit more awkwardly than other classes, and it's also a bit more. I don't know how it is now in NGS, but it definitely had a bit higher of a skill cap to use, and didn't really have a lot of safety. So in NGS, that might not really matter because we're starting over. But a lot of people just don't play Gunner just because of those reasons, even though they like it. Like aesthetically, having twin machine gun is pretty cool. But yeah. The other class was Force. Force I probably had the least fun with because, I don't know, I just couldn't really get into the text. Feel like I wanted more like close range type text than what they gave us. And I just wanted to like play as a Force, like a magic user, but be a bit more up close and personal. But it felt like with the rod, you're more long range, like PSO2 was. And there's some text that are a little bit more close range, of course, but like it just didn't feel like it meshed well with the gameplay style they were going with. So yeah, Force has a guard now though, so that's pretty cool, and it floats around like at 12 in PSO2, so that's not too bad. Oh yeah, this is the enemy in the rain. He's actually We started calling him Darrow, but he's like Dato Sword or whatever. Ooh, people just got destroyed. Yeah, if he kills you, I mean, if he hits you, you die in one hit. So it's because our level difference is like 4 below him, and so if you're like at this range of level, you can actually do damage to him. If you're lower level than 15 to this level 19 enemy, you do like half damage, and you start just doing 1 damage. If you go below 14 and 13 and 12, like you start doing 1 damage. So yeah, you have to be around the same level as the enemies in the game to actually fight them, I guess. So that's gonna be pretty interesting when they like release new content in the future with stronger enemies. It's gonna be kind of interesting there. Yeah, so here it was time to fight him, and I think I got here kind of late, so I didn't really get to do a lot of damage to him. This is actually a different fight. Near the end of the beta, this was like the last fight I got with him, and this went a lot better than the other one, all because we have more time with people still already dying. I'm pretty sure I died a lot here. I was trying to get used to fighting this thing as melee because I had used twin machine gun for the most part, and he really misses you a lot when you use TMG, so wasn't really what I expected when I fought him as a melee. Yep, see? I'm like, I couldn't even see that even happening. I think it's also the positioning we were at. Couldn't really have a full view of the enemy. It's like in between these like two little peaks on the side, so like these 2 little cliffs on the side, so they definitely got in the way of the camera expanding outward, so can't really see what the boss is doing really. But for the most part, this enemy does take a large group of people to fight it and to kill it, so I was pretty happy that we actually did manage to take it down. Let's see here. When did I die? I died a couple of times here. Quite a few, actually. Alright, so enemies get downed in the game, and that's when you can do damage. So that's kind of a cool new feature. I think Force might be able to down the enemy faster if they do like right element attack or something. I'm not really sure. Here, I didn't even know what attack he was doing. No one did. So if you're fighting this guy and you're not sure, just play range. You know, that dude just got stepped on. Let's go. I'm not really sure where to attack. I know the thing on the back, I can attack it as a range. Oh yeah, I slowed down this part. I have dodged like a split second too quickly for that laser. So I was like, okay, that was very demotivating on me. And then this one. Yeah. I didn't even know the explosions could even hit me that far. See, this is what happens when you fight against enemy at range and then you go to melee. You just don't know what the fuck is the actual timing to dodge this stuff, or like what can actually hit you, because you're constantly moving as a range class. That's why when you play ranged in PSO as a series, or like action games in general, it's kind of like you're playing a easier game than if you're playing like melee. Because melee, like it has like safety nets and stuff that range classes usually don't have, but it's also there to help you like learn how to play the actual game. So I can't wait for this game to come out and I can actually learn for real how to play the game. Get some good practice in, fight the enemies, and learn all the patterns and everything. That'll be great. So this is the end of the beta. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Tekker, but no one cares about Tekker. Tekker's okay. Tekker's kind of okay, I guess. It's like a gutted melee class, but you could do like magic and support, so it's kind of necessary. Here we just like celebrate after fighting that boss, and you're just like, yeah, let's just ride out and start gliding towards the city when the maintenance is about to start and the game goes down. And well, yeah, that was pretty much the beta for me. You know, this was like the last 2 hours of the beta. Like this video was like just clips of me in the last like 2 hours of the beta. So yeah, this is kind of how my beta journey ended. It was pretty fun. I'm really glad I got to play it. Hoping they add just attacks or perfect attacks back into the main game, but if they don't, you know, it's kind of whatever. I'll get used to it. But combat was definitely a bit more engaging with that. And then I dropped into the city, loaded up everything, and cancer. There we go. That's what I like to see in my PSO2. Just cancer. So yeah, this was definitely not the way I expected my beta to end. I thought I was going to disconnect while gliding, but then all these spammers in the city just going away at whatever they're doing. So I decided to join in, just randomly start jumping. And I guess it ends pretty soon. But yeah, it's fun. I guess after this recording, I would have like a bit over an hour until they're supposed to come up. I'm glad I got a lot of sleep, but yeah. I am so happy I got a lot of sleep. Yep, there you go. This is what happens when the game goes into maintenance or goes down. Everyone just stops moving. You can still walk around, of course. But what's the fun in that? So yeah, that was PSO2 NGS. I will be uploading a lot of footage of this game because I actually enjoy playing this one. Don't have to really force myself to have fun with this game. It's really casual, really fun. You don't have to like grind really hard in the game either. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Well, yep, see you guys. I'm on ship 3, so yeah, see you guys in NGS later.